AI, big topic these days. But ultimately, it really comes down to what is the company's vision and mission? Like, why do they exist? What are they really trying to build? One of the things that we spend quite a bit of time doing is doing assessments and diligence as well.
Hi, I'm Lisa March, and today on EdTech Elevated, I'm joined by Leigh Newsome. Leigh is a partner at Hoola Hoop and an adjunct professor at NYU. Leigh has a tremendous amount of experience working with technology leaders, CTOs and CPOs. He coaches and advises them on best practices. He also helps investors with due diligence and M&A. I'm excited to have Leigh here today with us. Leigh, so great to see you today.
Great to see you.
Been excited to host you. Would love to know a little bit about you. You're a partner at Hoola Hoop, and we've worked together for a number of years with several clients, and I am really excited to talk about some of the services that you offer at Hoola Hoop and how your background really makes you a perfect partner for us. We've experienced a lot of great work teaming up with you and having you work with our clients as it relates to technology. So tell us a little more about you and Hoola Hoop and your journey to being a managing partner there.
Sure. So really excited. So thank you for this, Lisa. So I started out years ago as a software engineer in Silicon Valley. So that was sort of my kind of foray into technology. And usually as a technologist, you have two paths. One is you're going to stay as a heads down engineer, or you're going to take the path of more of the business sort of management side of running companies and so forth. And that's the path that I took. So I, moved to New York 15, 16 years ago and took a number of CTO roles out here. And so really spent, a number of years leading different organizations. And then later I also became a CEO. So really sort of formed a blend of technology and business, together. And that eventually led into Hoola Hoop, where I'm at now today as a partner. And so we are an advisory firm that works with organizations in a variety of different areas. One, helping their businesses grow in particular, and helping the leaders that run those businesses, usually the C-level execs, be the most effective type of leader they can be. And also, I specialize in working with the CTOs and the CPOs, the chief product officers, and really helping them sort of lead their organizations, make the right team decisions, the right technology decisions, and really building sort of that well-rounded perspective. And I think two of us at Hoola Hoop in particular have academic backgrounds as well. So I'm also an adjunct professor at NYU. And one of my other partners, Mark, also has an academic background. He's taught at Columbia and other institutions as well. So we really tried to bring that blend from the academic side, but also the operating side as an organization. That's kind of what makes us a little bit unique in terms of kind of what we do.
I definitely agree. Having some background in the actual space is certainly helpful. Mm-hmm. And as you know, our core focus at Partner in Publishing is to partner with EdTech leaders, and we focus on the marketing and sales piece. And we've seen how important it is to have somebody in the company who could give us all the right information, who can help us understand the products and services so that we can market and sell them. And I have had firsthand experience with companies that are trying to grow and scale, and how their teams potentially have different strengths and challenges. Yep. And one of the things that we often are challenged with is really the execution on the technology piece. Yep. And for us, execution is everything. Yep. We can market and sell great products and services. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes we see CEOs who are great at their visionary dreams, and they are great with potentially even sales and marketing, and we power their strength. But one of the areas that we don't have expertise in necessarily is building and managing teams, or even being able to counsel them on best practices for their product tech stacks. Yep. So talk to us a little bit about some of the challenges you see with leaders maybe not having the right people and the right partners in that space?
Sure. So that area in particular, so the world of technology building products, comes down to a couple different pieces. One is the team, the people around, making sure the organization has the right leaders, but also the right, IC engineers, product managers, and so forth, to really bring to life the vision that the company has for whatever they're building and aspiring to be, and also making the right technology decisions and choices. So one of the things we do is, since we're an outside organization that comes in, we bring an objective perspective to that particular challenge. People often will make decisions for a variety of reasons around particular technologies they may decide to pick. Some of it could be a shiny object they're excited about. And so what we try to do is make sure that the decisions being made are the right ones to help the company with where they are today, but more importantly, where they're going in the future, especially from a scalability standpoint. So you need to have the right blend of people, the right technologies in place, and also the right financial model around it, which is really important. Does the technology, from a cost perspective, also, is it reasonable over time? Is it something that's going to cause an enormous amount of unexpected expense, which is not okay for a lot of organizations? So we try to look at that full picture around that and really guide organizations to make sure they're making the right sound decisions. And it's not like usually these challenges are unique. A lot of companies face similar challenges in those areas. So we're able to provide that perspective from seeing, hundreds and hundreds of companies over time and really help, guide that conversation and decision-making process inside of organizations.
Boost your company's digital presence with Partner in Publishing. We leverage proven strategies to expand your reach and increase sales. Whether you're a startup or an established business, we tailor our digital marketing strategies to meet your specific needs. From search engine optimization and high conversion digital ads to organic social media and targeted email marketing, we employ essential marketing strategies to achieve your mission and deliver impactful results. Partner with us to meet and exceed your sales and marketing goals and stand out in the education sector. Learn more at partnerinpublishing.com.
Super important, especially now when you see so much evolving and changing, and particularly with technology companies, everybody wants to innovate. So in education in particular, we see AI as becoming a really critical piece of what our technology leaders need to think about as it relates to scaling and innovating. So how do you work with companies like the companies we work with to make sure that they're staying on the cutting edge of the next version of whatever it is they need to build?
Yeah, great question. So obviously AI, big topic these days. It's a part of technology. It's actually been around for quite a long time, but in the past number of years, it's become much more tangible and visible with things like ChatGPT and a lot of the challenges that has also created in education. But at the same time, it's a great tool for organizations. But ultimately, it really comes down to what is the company's vision and mission? Like, why do they exist? What are they really trying to build? And in that sort of journey, figuring out what's the right blend of technologies that are there. How can companies leverage AI if that's appropriate? There's also a little bit of let's jump on the bandwagon out there where people are trying to jump for the sake of jumping. And so you really have to have honest conversations about that. And technology changes, technology evolves, and you want to have a forward-thinking lens to try to be as current as possible. But really, it comes back to making sure the core sort of mission and vision of the company and the team and the technologies that are there really support that. So that's more important than saying, let's just pick AI or something in the AI space, but making sure that sort of bigger picture is met. And that's kind of really, I would say, like the key aspect to think about.
So a lot of the companies that we work with are pre-revenue.
Yeah.
And wondering how you work to partner with them to ensure that they get to where they want to be, and also they work with VCs and angel
Yep.
investors and funders who are really interested in making sure that they have the right talent on the team to get to where they want to be. So how do you help organize a pre-revenue company that wants to scale?
Yeah. So pre-revenue, I'm actually going to look at it from maybe two perspectives: pre-revenue, then also later stage, growth stage, because the lens is slightly different. In an early stage company, especially as they're building out their technology and their team, it tends to be a lean, mean sort of organization, making sure, the technology decisions are, the right ones for the job they're trying to do, making sure the right people are on the team. And I think one of the things that we spend quite a bit of time doing is doing assessments and diligence as well, is looking at sort of the intersection of the people, the process, the technology, and the finances of a company. And so in an early stage company, we're really looking at making sure that they've done enough work technology-wise to sort of prove and validate their product aspirations, that they actually translate to some type of product market fit. Later on, as a company hits a later stage, growth stage, it's about optimizing. And so we're really looking at that point, really optimizing the company's spend, decisions they make, the type of team they may have in place, and guiding them in that journey to optimize and scale. So the two worlds are a little bit different, and one hopefully leads to the other, but sometimes that may not be the case in organizations if the market has changed or they've made some decisions along the way that probably weren't ideal. But I think it's really important for early stage companies to have that type of assessment, to really form that picture of, these are the options that we have, and really thinking about those variety of options and, the different paths that they could take, and ultimately landing on the one that's right for them. So we really try to bring in that perspective in the conversation to the leaders that are there, especially the chief product officers and the chief technology officers, to help guide them in that process.
No, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. We work with lots of companies, and CEOs come from a variety of backgrounds, and it is hard. I mean, as a CEO, you can't possibly be good at every single thing.
Sure.
And getting the technology right is certainly a big, if not everything, when it comes to catapulting your company to success.
Yep.
And so we met through, I'm an investor, and
Yeah.
I know that you also do work around due diligence.
Yep.
So firms that hire Hoola Hoop to ensure that they know what it is that they're buying. So can you talk to us a little bit about what that looks like?
Sure. So there's really two core aspects to diligence. One is typically for an investor, which is we're looking at a company and we want someone to provide an objective perspective on the company's technology, the company's team, are what they building? Is it sustainable? Is it something that later on, after we invest, we're going to find out we have enormous technical debt and it's going to slow down progress? So that's sort of one side, the investor side. The other side is M&A, so mergers and acquisition. And in that scenario, usually it's trying to validate the claims that a company has about what their product does. And so we get brought in usually for those scenarios to do an evaluation and look again. You're looking at the same types of things, but you're really trying to validate. Okay, is this true? Does this platform do what it says it does, et cetera, and look at the quality of how the code bases, the health of the code bases, how actually the technology is created. And so we do a 50,000-foot analysis and also a ground level analysis and put those pictures together. And so I think typically it's in the investor and sort of M&A scenario. And then there's companies too that come in sort of on an annual basis, ask us to do like a health check to sort of, check again to see how they're doing. And I think those pictures and perspectives are important because you're also trying to identify, hidden skeletons in the closet that you may not know about. And when we do find those, we help the organization. We give a series of recommendations. Here's ways to solve this over time. And I think it just really helps build that resiliency in their technology platform and in their organization. So diligence is a big part of what we do. And, it's something that we see more and more of these days, especially in the tech and EdTech space in particular.
Are you ready to elevate your brand and captivate your audience? At Partner in Publishing, our video marketing services are all about turning your ideas into captivating visual narratives. Whether it's a compelling promotional video, engaging social media content, or informative tutorials, we've got you covered. Our expert team works closely with you to create videos that not only look amazing, but also drive results. Don't just be seen, be remembered. Visit partnerpublishing.com today and discover how we can help you outshine the competition.
Well, I have seen you in action as it relates to getting in, looking under the hood in that black box, and really understanding maybe some of the challenges that companies are having. And by this, I mean, we've seen companies, a lot of our partners, offshore, outsource, and sometimes they don't know what's going on in the day-to-day. And by the time it gets to us in sales and marketing, and we're actually sitting with clients, demos, sales, and doing implementations, we are then coming to find challenges with the products and services that we're marketing. And the potentially due diligence maybe wasn't done ahead of time. And I have seen you come in and help get the teams in order. So what are some of the challenges with outsourcing and sending your dev teams to work outside with outside companies? How do you make sure that those relationships are the right ones and that they're having success?
Yeah, I think first of all, there's nothing wrong with outsourcing or having a contracting firm come in and build portions of your technology. It's really all about, again, going back to the company's mission, making sure what you're building is delivering, as to what you claim it to do, and really sort of actualizing that vision. So that, I would say, is most important. But there are many strategies to building organizations. There's companies that have people, all full-time employees, wherever they may be located in the city or town they're located. I mean, today things are a little bit more distributed since COVID. That's a natural, I think, sort of evolution we've seen in tech and probably going to continue. But it's about also making sure what's being built has a good quality around it. And so as you scale, you're avoiding some of the technical debt challenges that plague a lot of companies. And that's not necessarily because of outsourcing or anything around that. There's great organizations that outsource and have very, very high quality engineering, deliverables and throughput. But it's really sort of looking at that full picture and making sure the types of teams that are there and the types of engineers and the types of product managers are the right ones. It's less about W-2 versus 1099 taxation. It's more about really the value those engineers are bringing and the type of work that they're doing. So, outsourcing is a normal thing, and there are times in a company's trajectory, especially as you get to later stage, you may need to do more of that to have sort of a more reasonable cost structure around software development. And so one of the things we look at is the stage of where a company is and the investment they have in R&D or in engineering. We like to make sure it's in ratio with where they are at that stage. And so you always see blends of this. And so that's something that we'll be continuing, no doubt.
We're big advocates of partnering and outsourcing. We do believe that having flexibility in the talent that you need depending on the task really does make a difference. And then there are times when it is time to bring someone in-house. And when you are a CEO who may not necessarily be a technologist, how do we work with Hoola Hoop to ensure that whoever we're putting in leadership positions in, potentially a very, very important job at the company is the right person?
Yeah, great question. Most CEOs aren't technologists, and that is expected. I mean, they're business leaders. They're running an organization. They do want to hire the right people or the right person for leading product and leading engineering. And so one of the things that I found, say, over the past 10, 15 years in particular, is there's a lot of tools and a lot of ways to measure engineering success. And I think what's really important is the leader, either a chief product officer or a chief technology officer, is very transparent with the CEO around here are the things we're looking at to gauge our success. Here are the things we're measuring, really to open up that black box and demystify technology. So technology shouldn't be a mystery. A CEO doesn't need to understand everything about the technology, but they need to understand what it does, a little bit on how it works, but more importantly, see the results that it delivers. And so in the world of sales, for example, you have Salesforce, you have quotas, targets. It's very easy to measure the impact of a sales leader. In the world of engineering, there are just as many tools to do similar types of things. And so the thing that I encourage most CEOs to do is to have that conversation with their CTO about what are the right things we should be tracking and measuring in engineering, and how do we make those, how do we share those in a comfortable way in the organization, just as we do like our sales targets, for example. It's really not much different. Some leaders are a little apprehensive to break down those walls, but really the right thing to do is to work in that mode of transparency. So I think it starts with having the right conversation and really identifying the right things to measure. And so CEOs really need to look for leaders that are willing to do that and also really meet them at the table in terms of, really looking at their engineering orgs and making sure they've got the right team and the right leader in place.
Agree. So how could a sitting CPO or CTO think about partnering with Hoola Hoop? Because again, it seems like a black box to me, and you said it probably shouldn't be, but there's so much to technology, and we see a lot of companies bolting on new tech, whether it be through a merger or acquisition or building portfolios of companies that instead of building it, they buy it. And so you see often CTOs or CPOs acquiring content and or technology or platforms that then they need to integrate with their existing systems. And we from the outside see that it could be complicated and it could take long, but we're expected to sell and market them before they're ready. So how does a leader work with Hoola Hoop to ensure that they do everything they're doing on a day-to-day basis, but have smooth transitions with some of these bolted-on products?
So there are probably a couple angles to that. I think one in particular is that we help provide a picture and a scenario around this is the reality of what it would take to integrate, say, this company you've just acquired into your larger tech stack, your larger ecosystem. What are the limitations of it? You actually have to have a roadmap to integrate that in. And that's not just at a technology level, that's also at a team, people, culture level. There's many different factors to that. A lot of organizations think you can just go buy a company and plug it in. I think the reality is quite a bit different from that in most cases. And so what we like to do is work with those leaders to put a reasonable plan in place, a realistic plan. It can be an aggressive plan to push them, but it needs to work in a realm of reality around that. So that's one thing we can do, is to really help with that. And the other two is, phone calls come in one or two different flavors. Usually it's, hey, we have a problem with something. Can you help us solve a problem? That's fine. We do a lot of that. The other part, which really is the more ideal time, is we're in a phase of growing and we're looking ahead. How can you help us look ahead and help make the right decisions or navigate the future sort of challenges in a way and sort of prepare us for that and prepare for that growth and scale? And I think that's actually the right time is when things seem that they're great. It's to actually get that perspective at that point in time. But, there's many different reasons why people may call or look to our services. But and those are typically what we navigate. But it's really helping put that plan in place for the company and helping them succeed. So whether it's hey, we have a problem, or we were trying to look ahead and be a little bit more proactive, we work in both sides. So that's kind of the picture we typically see for that, and why leaders call us.
So when you say we, I would love to hear more about your team at Hoola Hoop. And I know I, again, have worked with you several times, and it's kudos to you because I think 99.9% 9% of your business is referral,
Yep.
which is great. And that's because of the strength and the leadership of your team. So
Yes.
you just described a scenario where there could be multiple services that could be helpful to a company based on their stage.
Yep.
And so, tell us a little about your partners
Sure.
and how you work together.
So the three of us, we have three partners, and then we have a staff of executive coaches as well that work for us. Everybody has their own specialty. At the partner level, the three of us are very different from one another, which I think is what kind of makes us very unique at what we do. So one of the partners I have, Eyal Goldberger, is a serial CEO. So he really works with CEOs and also boards to really hone in the company strategy, support the CEO and the decisions, she or he may have around, managing and running their business, and really thinking about all the things that CEOs should worry about. So he really focuses on supporting, CEOs and boards. He also takes roles as, a board observer, so joins in board meetings and so forth. So really sort of supports that CEO in a pretty well-rounded perspective. My other partner, Mark Maltz, really comes from sort of an organizational psychology background and works with executive teams, looking at team dynamics, the resilience and the health of organizations, and works with CEOs and other execs to really, work on sort of that, operating model for the executive team. We call it the operating system. That's sort of one of the ways we look at how a team works together. And so Mark's expertise is really working on that side of the house with companies, and I focus on the product tech side. And then we have other coaches that work and have varying degrees of specialty that we bring in on to a variety of clients that we work with. So we run a pretty well-rounded sort of facet of services for companies, and the real goal at the end of the day is helping leaders and companies succeed. So under that, we really try to represent most of the C-suite functions in our organization the best that we can.
Great. Well, it's been so great to have you here. I always love working with you. I know that
Likewise.
When I work with you, I know that we are making progress, and we know what the challenges are, and we have timelines and timeframes to get work done. So I have firsthand seen how important it is to have a technology leader supported by services that Hoola Hoop provides. So if it was me and I was a CEO and I had any challenges or questions, or were looking to optimize my teams, you would be the first call that I would make and refer. So thank you so much for being with us
Lisa.
today. And we appreciate all the good work that you've helped us do over the years, and hope to have you on our podcast again soon.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of EdTech Elevated, powered by Partner in Publishing. We hope you found today's episode inspiring and informative. Don't forget to subscribe and stay connected for more insightful conversations with EdTech leaders and innovators. Until next time, follow us on social to keep up with the latest trends in the world of EdTech. I'm Lisa March, and this is EdTech Elevated.